Hi, it's Matt here for newsshooter.com at NAB 2019. I'm with Mark from Arri. Now, this is the Alexa Mini LF. Now, we've covered this extensively already on our site in terms of specifications and what it can do, etc., etc. So I was more interested to talk to you about the actual development of the camera. When was this sort of first envisaged, and when did you first start working on the LF Mini?
Well, the Mini was a huge success. We developed a lot of the technology that's in here for the Mini originally. And then when we thought about the Alexa LF, we thought, well, we should also build a Mini version, but our engineers said, we don't know if we can really get that large sensor and all that processing in the small camera. So then once the Alexa LF came out, we realized we really have to do this. And that's when we started seriously working on this camera. And through some incremental improvements, it's 5% more by making different radiator fins. We use a different pace to get the heat from here to there. We have a larger cooling channel in here. We have a slightly larger fan. So it's a little bit here, a little bit there. We were actually able to get it to the point where we could fit that large sensor into the camera and make it work.
So there was a lot of obstacles to overcome in building this. Was this probably one of the most difficult cameras that Arri's ever had to build?
I would think so, yeah. And the problem really is it's a large sensor, so it's a lot of data. You do a lot of processing, which generates a lot of heat. Now, how can you cool all that in such a small body?
So this sort of in terms of the heat, you had to change the design a little bit, like moving the media around to the side here, and then opening this up with larger vents. I guess this is probably something that had to have been done more than out of necessity than anything else.
Well, actually the media moved because the CFast card in the back that used to be in the back here, it's very difficult to access. And a lot of people complained about accessing the CFast card. So we thought, where can we put the media that people can get at it better? So we moved it over here, which interestingly enough is almost like the original Alexa Classic, little side media bay. And then we had extra room here where the CFast card used to be, and we used that to make the cooling channel larger and to put a second row of connectors here.
And was the codex media in development for this specifically for this camera, or was this something you've been working on with codex for quite some time?
We had been working together with codex on a new media, and there were various size options we'd been discussing. And once we knew we were going to build this camera, we said, go for the smallest size option, which is this guy here. It's a compact drive, 1 terabyte. And so we decided on the size option, which, by the way, is also the size we're going to be using for future cameras from now on.
And also, I read somewhere that you guys are in development of a 4K S35 camera to be launched in 2020. I'm sure you probably can't tell me anything about this, but is that true?
Yes, that is true. We're working on a Super 35 camera with a Super 35 sensor that's going to be a true native 4K sensor, and the camera should appear in the first half of 2020. And the reason we announced this is that we know a lot of people are going to buy this camera, and it's a lot of money to buy a camera like this, and we didn't want them to buy the camera and then all of a sudden we announced the next camera that they may have wanted instead. And so we said, we're probably going to lose some sales on this camera, but we do want to be honest with our customers. We want to have an honest long-term relationship with our customers. So we announced the Super 35 camera, and the feedback has been really, really positive. People have very much appreciated it, and we still have a ton of orders for the Mini LF.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.